Hello everybody. Hope y'all can hear me. This is Mana Weezar from Mana's Audiobooks and Music, the podcast. I haven't finished editing the audio of my podcast, but the video of the podcast, it's done. But some people asked me to do this live, so that's what I'm doing on here. I'm reading the books on my podcast as is. Some of them I played, but this one I am going, but some I read, and I'm reading this one. Fear by Eliza Scottoline. And I am on chapter 3. Because I read chapters 1 and 2. It's on my YouTube channel and it's on my TikTok. Chapters 1 and 2 already read, and already read it on what you call favorited. I haven't done anything yet on Fanbase, but I will. Other than that, you could follow me on YouTube. You could follow me on TikTok or subscribe on YouTube, but some people will say follow, but I'm on a whole bunch of platforms at the same time going live, so yeah. Subscribe, follow, share, like. Alright, chapter 3. Vitez LLC was housed in a unique office building, a brownstone that had been stripped to its exposed brick walls, then glassed in and dramatically renovated as a glass box, with an atrium in the center that served as a waiting room furnished with glass end tables and modern sectionals that matched a large square of sisal. Glass balconies ringed the atrium at the second and third floors, where the associate offices were located, also with glass walls through which they could be seen working. All Mary could think was how much Vitez spent on Windex. Roger Vitez himself looked in his late 40s, thanks to salt and pepper haircut in careful layers and long sideburns that tapered to a matching beard, immaculately trimmed. He was tall, trim, and handsome, though his features were precise to the point of delicacy, with a long, narrow face accentuated by a long, thin nose, intelligent blue eyes bracketed by fine crow's feet, and fine lips pursed as tightly as a coin slot turned on its side. He was dressed in a black turtleneck and light gray wool pants, more like an art director than a lawyer. He didn't have a wedding ring, which didn't surprise Mary, because he seemed like a super picky kind of guy, which was her least favorite. She and Judy remained quiet as Benny pitched Roger, sorry about that, and Mary took in his office, which was equally unique. It was another large glass box with a glass desk, glass table, and more glass walls. Hold on a second. Transparent halogen pendants shone from black tracks that coordinated with the black frames of clerestory windows, and except for Vitez's laptop, there was no lawyer paraphernalia like legal pads, memos, red accordion files, family photos, framed diplomas, or lucid rewards. The bookshelves were also glass, and the books weren't the typical federal rules of civil procedure or Purdon's Pennsylvania statutes, but Lao Tzu, The Way of the Buddha, and the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Like I said, I'm just reading these books as is. Well, Benny, Roger said after Benny was finished. He tented his slim fingers and leaned back in his black mesh chair. Thank you for coming over. I'm afraid I'll have to decline the representation. With gratitude, of course. Mary and Judy exchanged looks, but didn't say anything since Benny wanted to do all the talking. This was a revolting development as far as Mary was concerned. Benny had spent the cab ride here raving about Vitez, that he graduated from Harvard Law, clerked for the Supremes, and was notoriously choosy about his caseload. Now that he didn't want them, Mary wanted him even more. She fell for the supply limited sales pitch every time. Benny leaned forward. Roger, you have to take this case. I'm very flattered, but I'm sure anybody in the Bar Association would jump at the chance to represent you. You know, absolutely everyone. I suggest you give any one of them a call. But you are my first and only choice. I want you. We all do. We do, Mary said, but didn't say any more. We really do, Judy chimed in. I wish I could, but I can't. Oh, excuse me. I wish I could, but I can't. Roger smiled, tenting his slim fingers, but Benny was getting frustrated. Roger, why not? For starters, I have a bad feeling about this lawsuit. I read the complaint you emailed me and the Pennsylvania Human Rights Relations Act. I sense that there's more here than meets the eye. You know, in movies, when they say this time, it's personal. I get the same sense about this lawsuit. Benny hesitated. Okay, you're right, it's personal. The attorney on the other side is Nick Machiavelli. Do you know him? I've heard of him. He's an old Mary's, and she beat him last case, and he's coming back with a vengeance. We believe he put the plaintiffs up to this matter. He manufactured this case. Roger blinked. So my intuition was correct. Yes. Then I decline the representation. Roger, come on. You represent lawyers accused of legal malpractice. How much more personal can it get? This a personal vendetta? Benny blinked. How did you even know that from the complaint? I asked myself why the plaintiffs are proceeding under the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act as opposed to Title VII. Our firm is too small to be covered by Title VII. We're only 4 employees and 3 partners. Roger raised a hand. That's not what's significant here. Although both the federal and state statutes outlaw discrimination on basis of gender. The Pennsylvania Human Relations Act has sharper teeth, most significantly under the PHRA. A plaintiff can sue a defendant personally and individually. That's what they're doing in this case. You 3 were named as individual defendants. That's not possible under Title VII. Damn, I should have realized that. Benny pursed her lips, frowning. Judy and Mary exchanged glances. They should have realized that too. But they've been too upset. The baby kicked hard, like a rebuke. Roger frowned slightly. This provision weaponizes the statute. You're personally liable for any damages. It also throws your liability coverage into question. If you're not covered by insurance, then each of you would have to pay damages personally. Understood. Benny nodded, and Mary felt a wave of fear. She and Anthony didn't have the financial cushion to withstand a personal judgment, and she felt a wave of guilt too, for getting Kim. Getting Benny, Judy into this mess. She was Machiavelli's real target, but they were caught in the crossfire. Roger continued. Secondly, under the PHRA, there's no cap on compensatory damages as under Title VII. Under Title VII, damages against even a firm of 14 employees are capped at $50,000. Punitive damages are available under Title VII, but not under PHRA. But they're so rarely awarded that it doesn't make a difference for your purposes. So the exposure is broader. Correct. Roger untended his fingers. You have 30 days to answer the complaint, though extensions are freely given. I would suggest you do not extend. I absolutely agree. That's how we litigate. Even as defendants, we're aggressive. We take the lead and never let go. In fact, we need to file an answer to this right away. No, you don't. Benny frowned. Why? Don't you want to take the initiative? Yes, I do. That's why I would wait. How is waiting taking initiative? Benny asked, but Roger only smiled somewhat condescendingly to Mary's eye. I have the same question, Mary said, backing Benny up. Then I'll explain, Roger answered calmly. To answer quickly is to react to Machiavelli. When you react to Machiavelli, you give him the initiative by your actions. Under the rules, you have ample time to answer. You respond to the rules, not to Machiavelli. Do you see the difference? Fine, Benny answered. Hold on here. Hope the music isn't too loud. Yeah, I have music on. It doesn't sound like it, but I do. Alright, where was I? After the complaint is answered, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission begins its investigation. As you may know, you'll be deposed and there will be additional discovery. The focus will be the decisions you made not to hire the plaintiffs, as well as anecdotal or statistical evidence of gender bias in favor of women at your firm. How long do you think that takes? 6 months to a year? Yes, and after a year, the plaintiffs can go to file suit in court. Before that, as you know, the commission will pressure you to settle. We'll never settle. Benny folded her arms, and Mary realized they hadn't even discussed the possibility of settlement. Still, she felt the same way and suspected that Judy did too. Roger frowned slightly. I would advise you to keep an open mind about settlement. No, absolutely not. It would be an admission. I know you're going to say it's not, but it is in reality. Nevertheless, settling this dispute without prolonged litigation benefits you and the firm. Roger blinked. Time is also a factor, and the fact that they have a year to investigate prolongs the damage to your reputation, given that they're off to a fast start. Reports of the allegations are already popping up online. Benny grimaced. That's why I wanted to meet right away. I also think we should hold a press conference today at the firm. We need to take our case to the media too. I texted our associate Ann Murphy to set it up for 2 o'clock this afternoon. Good, go ahead, even though you're not represented yet. In fact, it plays better. Their complaint is colorable, given the admission by your associate, John Foxman, and he is the only male lawyer employed by you. It's not intentional. Yes, it's not intentional. Benny flushed defensive. I'm sure chicks are poor and the number cut against you. In addition, your firm had its genesis as an all-female law firm. You have made many comments to that effect. It's not an illogical conclusion to think what you manifested you intended. The plaintiff's position has a common sense appeal. Judy cringed, and Mary was feeling more worried. They needed Roger to take their case, and fast. Benny pursed her lips. Don't tell me you think they can win, Roger. On the contrary, I do. The hell they will. We'll fight them tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. Roger blinked. I'm sure that whichever lawyer you go to will be thrilled with the representation. You know everyone, and you'll have your pick. Roger, seriously? Benny raised her voice. You can't be turning me away. We've known each other forever. That's why another lawyer will do better for you than I would. Why, this case could not be more important to me. That's why. Roger leaned back in his chair, spreading his elegant hands in appeal. You're facing an existential threat. You're facing an existential threat to your law firm. For you, it's your reason for being, your baby, your way of life, your emotions are at an all-time high. My bad. Of course they are. What else would you expect? Nothing else. Roger turned to Mary and Judy. I don't know either of you, but I'm sure as partners you share her concerns, temperament, even energies, yes? Yes, we do, Judy answered, and Mary let it go. She didn't know whose energy she shared. Lately, she didn't have any energy. Thought so. Roger nodded. I operate very differently from you three. Oh, come on, Benny scoffed. Don't be such a control freak. We're all litigators, for goodness sake. Sorry, I'm not going to say God's name in vain. So I'm going to say goodness or gosh sake. Because I'm not going to say God's name in vain. Mm-mm. Nope, not doing that. Not saying God's name in vain. Sorry. Just trying to get comfortable here. Making sure you can hear me. True, but we litigate in our own way. Roger paused. Ours is a Darwinian profession. Litigators are strong. We self-select. Only the toughest survive. There's lots of toughness. Talk of force. Force meeting force. Conflict, clashes, battle imagery, war, fighting like this. Roger smacked his hands together, a harsh sound echoing in the still quiet office. In addition, our justice system is adverse. Our justice system is adversarial. There's two teams, two sides, they fight, and one wins. So, Benny shot back, and Judy looked over, surprised at the crankiness in her tone. Mary was getting cranky herself, since evidently Roger spoke haiku. I'm strong, but there are different forms of strength. I don't fight. I don't use force. I assert my position, but I remain flexible. My associates are strong too, but we're strong in a different way. I'm not sure the Vitesse firm and the Rosado firm are well suited. Roger, we're not getting married. We're not even merging. And that's what I mean. Whoops, I read Roger's voice in one of in Benny and Judy and Mary's voice instead of his. The same voice that I used for John Foxman. I'm sorry about that. Including Machiavelli, which I'll be doing soon enough. And that's what I mean. Roger smiled slightly. I don't see things the way you do. I don't see the labels and divisions. Relationships are relationships. To me, the relationship between client and attorney is no different from the relationship between lovers or corporate entities. It's about my relationship to myself ultimately. Oh, please. Benny groaned. But Judy tilted her head, obviously intrigued. Mary tried not to throw up again, thinking of all the money that was about to go down the tubes because of Machiavelli. Roger shifted forward. Benny, to achieve a successful result, we need to work together. I don't think we'll work together well. Of course we will. Benny threw up her hands. We're a dream client. Or a nightmare client. How dare you? Benny spat out. And even Mary was taken aback. Only Judy was still listening. Roger put up a palm. Benny, don't mistake me. It's not personal. That's exactly my point. A personal lawsuit means drama. I call plaintiffs like this plaintiffs, because that's what they want to inflict. That's cute, but all plaintiffs cause pain and drama. Not like this. I abhor drama. It dissipates energy and squanders clarity. Why won't you take us? Really? Benny bore down. It's because you don't think I'll listen to you? Is that it? You think we'll have a power struggle? No, I don't seek your obedience. I seek your cooperation. Not everything is binary. Yet that's how you see the world. You will be unhappy with my representation, inevitably, as I will be unhappy representing. If I may, Roger, Judy interrupted. I understand what you're saying. I agree that we have a difference in our energies. I know that our philosophies aren't necessarily compatible. Oh? Roger tilted his head. And for the first time, Mary thought his blue eyes showed signs of life. Yes, and it's demonstrated in this very meeting. Benny wants to argue you into taking our case, but she can't. Exactly. Benny looked over with a frown, but Judy kept talking. I've done a fair amount of reading on Eastern philosophy, as you have. I own most of these books, too. I've studied them. Almost done with chapter 3, everyone. Judy gestured at the shelves. After college, I was even thinking about becoming a Buddhist nun. What? Mary blurted out incredulously. She thought she knew everything about Judy. She'd even seen her bra drawer, which was a mess. Meanwhile, Mary's sister was a nun, but a Catholic nun, like normal. Mary didn't even know the Buddhists had nuns. Roger beamed at Judy. So why didn't you pursue becoming a nun? I felt I could do more as a lawyer. I handle the pro bono work that Benny brings into the firm. I think of that as my reason for being, not the firm, the service. I follow the way. you do. Benny's eyebrows lifted. Which way? Mary asked, bewildered. The way of Tao. Judy answered with an unusual placid expression. Mary looked at Judy nonplussed. She knew her best friend had pink hair and minored in woo-woo, but Judy had gotten even wackier since she bought a loom. Mary wasn't sure how these two things were related, but nobody needed to weave things you could buy woven. Roger folded his slim fingers on the glass desk. So then, Judy, you understand your firm's way of doing things, and the fact that this lawsuit is so personal counsels against my involvement. Perhaps, Judy said, equally calm. I see your position. Benny's eyes flared in anger. Carrier, whose side are you on? Mary was pretty sure that Benny was proving Vita's point. Meanwhile, she never heard Judy say perhaps before. Mary didn't know what was coming over her best friend and prayed it helped the cause. And if anyone is watching on TikTok or on YouTube or even on Rumble, don't forget to follow, don't forget to share, don't forget to like. That is, she prayed to the real God, not whoever they were talking about. Judy nodded. I do understand, Roger. It's interesting, though, that one of my favorite lessons from Lao Shu is about the sage and his philosophy of service. How so? Roger asked pleasantly. Lao Shu teaches the more the sage helps others, the more he benefits himself. The more he gives to others, the more he gets himself. That is the way of the sage. Roger didn't speak for a moment, and Mary was totally confused, since she thought they were talking about the way of the Tao and not the way of the sage, and in any event, she had been raised Catholic, which was my way or the highway. Judy paused. So I hope you'll revisit your decision not to represent us. After all, in the words of Lao Shu, the flexible are preserved unbroken. Excuse me, ladies. Roger closed his eyes and sat perfectly still for a moment. Judy said nothing. Benny said nothing. Mary held her breath. Roger opened his eyes. I have reached a decision. That's the end of chapter 3. I hope y'all enjoyed the book. It's called Feared by Liza Scottoline. I'll try and come back on here tomorrow and read chapter 4. I'll try. It's just I haven't been feeling well, so. Yeah, that's why I haven't been reading live lately, so. Yeah, because I haven't been feeling well. Other than that, don't forget to follow, don't forget to like, don't forget to share. And I'll see you next time I go live.